So hey guys, and welcome to the next video of the Random Watch Dude. Thanks for joining me. It's a bit of a funny day here in Auckland today. It's as you can see, it's quite sunny. I've had to put my sun hat on. The sun's right overhead. I thought I'd come down to the bottom of my garden and record a quick video for you. But as you can see, probably in the background there's a bit of grey sky. So you might find that the light kind of intermittently gets bright and then gets dark again. It's just one of those days. It's quite near the end of summer here. I think we could almost say that we're into autumn. So the days are starting to get shorter here in Auckland, in the southern hemisphere, of course. With you guys, most of you guys that are watching these videos are obviously in the northern hemisphere, so you'll be thinking the opposite. You're looking forward to those longer days and the sun getting a little bit higher in the sky, I'm sure. But here we go. Here's some of the last rays of the southern hemisphere summer for you today. And today a video is a follow-up video. Actually, I wanted to talk to you about Rolex again, and we all love a good Rolex video, don't we? So quite recently I made a video called How to Escape Rolex Purgatory. Some of you may recall that. If you haven't seen that, I'll leave a link to that video up here. I made a video called How to Escape Rolex Purgatory. And what did I mean by that? Rolex Purgatory. Rolex Purgatory is essentially a testament to the allure of Rolex, really, the brand itself, the marketing, and also the wait list and the anticipation of getting yourself a Rolex is so unique and so unlike any other watch brand that I'm into or that I've seen. I've basically classified Rolex, and I think a lot of you watch fans have. You've classified Rolex almost as a watch brand that's completely different to all the other watch brands because of the feelings that it evokes in you, and also to a degree, you know, how difficult it is to take your mind off of Rolex once you get bitten by the Rolex bug. Now, I'll make a confession to you guys. I have been bitten by the Rolex bug, well and truly. I'm 5 or 6 in, and yeah, there's not really up until quite recently been a sense that I'm happy with that 5 or 6. You know, I've been thinking about getting more because, you know, once you get bitten by that Rolex bug, guys, if you haven't already, once you get bitten by that Rolex bug, it's there to stay. It's really hard to get rid of. Now, I had a couple of kind of interesting experiences, bordering on unpleasant experiences with Rolex ADs here recently, and it kind of, for me, it was the final nail in the coffin, if you like, the final straw that broke the camel's back of my Rolex journey, if you'd like to call it that. Well, that's what I thought. So I took myself off of the interest list, the expression of interest list that I was on at a couple of the Rolex authorised dealers here. Took myself off of the list. I thought, well, that's it for me, that's Rolex, that's me done. And lo and behold, you know, I didn't realise, guys, it was going to be this difficult to just take Rolex out of your mind. And, you know, because of the marketing, because of the brand perception that Rolex has, and actually because they make fantastic watches, even for the money, they make fantastic watches, I found it really hard to sort of get Rolex out of my mind. Even though I've bought a few watches since my last Rolex, including this one, by the way. Now this is a Rolex, this is a Tudor. It's kind of, you know, the baby Rolex, really, isn't it? Tudor. We've talked about this before, but Tudor is kind of a sister company, a subsidiary of the Rolex franchise, if you like. And this is a Tudor FXD Marine Nationale. Really nice watch. Wearing this today, and wear it quite frequently actually when I'm out on my kayak as well, going for a paddle. This is a really good utilitarian watch, and quite unique as well. If you haven't seen it already, please do watch the video that I made as a review on this. It's a superb watch. Really enjoying wearing it, but it doesn't take you away from the from the allure which is Rolex, guys. Even though I've got myself into Omega and Tudor and Tag and lots of other watch brands, I still haven't really sort of managed to let go of that allure that Rolex has, and I've called it purgatory. It's almost like you're held in purgatory. So I made a video quite recently where I talked about how to escape Rolex purgatory. It's not easy. And I kind of thought to myself, you know, and this is all tongue-in-cheek, guys, don't take any of this on face value as 100% serious. I'm just having some fun here, okay? I just want to qualify this video and some of my previous videos by saying I'm just having some fun. I'm using some analogies as an example to try and inject a little bit of light-hearted humour into what is actually quite a serious subject, which is how do you escape Rolex purgatory. In my last video I suggested rather foolhardily to myself that I might take a look at religion, as a way to kind of distract myself from Rolex and from watches generally, and also to try and get a feel for, what else could I use as an example of how being obsessed with watches is a really bad idea, and it's really not healthy to be held in Rolex Purgatory. So I thought I'd look at religion for the answer, because that's what so many people in the world do, isn't it? There's 8 billion people in this world, and let's be honest, the vast majority of those 8 billion people are a believer in a faith of sorts. Whether it be, I'm not going to talk about the list, there's probably 1,000 different religions out there, and 10,000 sub-sects from each religion. So you know what I'm talking about, guys. I was looking at religion, but I did think to myself, oh yeah, Buddhism, Buddhism, that kind of non-materialistic Zen-like space that I'd like to get into, where I'm not obsessing over Rolex anymore and obsessing over watches and material possessions. Surely, I can look at Buddhism as the answer. This is going to give me the answer to how to escape purgatory. And sure enough, I looked at the Dalai Lama. For those of you who watch this video, you'll know what's coming next. I looked up the Dalai Lama because, of course, he's the living God. Really, he's the last of the living gods in any religion in the world. And guess what, guys? The guy walks around with a Rolex Datejust 36 on. He's frequently seen, when he goes to these meetings with all the, the high and mighty powers around the world to shake hands and bless you. He's wearing his DJ 36 two-tone, lovely, great for an old guy like him. Really suits him. But guys, he's a living god. And he's wearing a Rolex. So I thought to myself, well, that's it. I'm pretty shagged, really, aren't I? To be honest with you, if I can't look to the Dalai Lama, the non-materialistic Zen-like living God, for guidance on how to escape Rolex Purgatory, then where can I look? So guys, you're looking at me, and here's a guy that just isn't seeing the answers with religion. So I've been putting some more thought into this, guys. I've been putting some more thought into this. And so I thought, where else can I look for guidance on this? And I decided to have a look at social media, because surely, social media has the answers to everything, doesn't it? Google, Wikipedia, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. This is where you go, isn't it, to get your news and to get the answers to life, the universe, and everything, isn't it? Facebook, let's be honest, Facebook is the oracle for guidance, isn't it? Let's be honest. So took a look at social media, guys, and what I realised with social media is, and I know you guys all know this, is it's just 24/7 watch envy. This is all I found with social media, is I have found watch envy 24/7, 365 days a year. I can go on social media and I can just become really, really envious of the watches that you guys are wearing and that I can't have, or that I've got to wait for. So, you type in things like how to escape Rolex Purgatory, and, maybe apart from my video, nobody's got the answers, guys. So if religion doesn't have the answers, and all I get from social media, which is the oracle, for the world, for the life, the universe and everything, if I can't find the answers on YouTube and Facebook, where do I look? So all I found on YouTube, for example, was buy this watch. Basically, you look at all the YouTube channels, and all the guys on YouTube are telling you, including me probably surreptitiously, is buy this watch. I'll show you a watch, buy it. But I'll also tell you what watches not to buy. Because. Let's be honest. You can just watch a random stranger on YouTube and take their advice, can't you? As gospel, can't you? So if this random stranger that you've never met tells you not to buy a watch, then you've really got to pay attention to that and not buy that watch either, haven't you? And of course, then if they tell you that this watch is the best that you should buy it, then absolutely you should just go out and buy it tomorrow without even trying it on. I mean, this is the great thing about social media, guys, is that you can trust all these people that are telling you all this information, can't you, on social media? All the guys on TikTok and Instagram, you just take their advice, don't you? But nobody, guys, nobody's got the advice. Nobody can tell me which watch brand or how to escape Rolex Purgatory. And I've even got these guys on YouTube telling me that this Seiko, crikey, what was it recently? It was a Seiko dive watch, and they referred to it as a Rolex killer. And I thought, wow, blimey, if it's a Rolex killer, it must be amazing. I mean, it must have a 72-hour power reserve at least. It must be shock resistant. It must be anti-magnetic. It must be less than 15 grand, for example, which I'm sure it was as a Seiko. But I was looking at the specs of this watch thinking, and I was watching the review because, the YouTuber was telling me that this is a Rolex killer. And I thought, well, if it's a Rolex killer, I've absolutely got to watch this. And I've got to get to the end of the video and then I'm going to buy the watch because it's a Rolex killer. And I got to the end and I thought, well, I've just watched a video by a guy telling me that this watch is the answer to Rolex, and this is going to replace my Rolex Purgatory. It's going to release me from my Purgatory, this $500 Seiko. And I just thought, guys, I think this guy might be making up some clickbait here. I couldn't believe it. I suddenly realised. I mean, this is what clickbait is, isn't it? When somebody just types in the words Rolex killer, buy this watch, don't buy this watch. It's dawned on me, guys. None of these guys have got the answer either. They're just making shit up because it's clickbait. It's to get views. It's to make money from the ad revenue. And I just thought, oh my God, they don't even believe this themselves. They know that this bloody Seiko isn't a Rolex killer. And they know that you really shouldn't go out and buy this watch because it's crap. But somebody has told them that if they tell you that if you type in to the search on YouTube, Rolex killer, buy this watch, you'll probably make a decent amount of money out of the views, out of the ad revenue, and actually it's quite likely that the person who's making that video is potentially being sponsored by a local watch shop because they've got that watch for sale. It's in their window, they can't sell it, so they thought, I'll give it to this guy who's got a YouTube channel, and he'll make a video telling everybody that it's a Rolex killer, and I'll sell it for the asking price. I mean, these things are starting to dawn on me now, guys. Call me cynical, but I've just come to the conclusion that there is no Rolex killer, unfortunately. Rolex, and this is the point, guys, Rolex is Rolex. There's nothing else to it. It's like a Porsche 911. You could say, but the Porsche 911 is just a unique motor vehicle, isn't it? It always has been. It's always had that very, very unique design, and over the generations they've subtly changed it. Very much like Rolex, unique design. Nothing special, nothing grand. It looks sporty, it looks flash, but there's nothing, there are nicer looking watches out there. There are nicer looking cars than the Porsche 911, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Bentleys, Rolls-Royce. But let's be honest, guys, nobody's ever come close to replacing the beauty of the Porsche 911. And that's where I've kind of got to now, guys, is that I'm never going to get to a stage where I dislike Rolex. It's just not going to happen. So the question is now, how do I continue to respect and love Rolex? Because I do, because it's the Porsche 911. It's a Porsche 911, guys, of the watch world. It's not the best, it's not the fastest, but it is just a beautiful package. It's well presented and it's unique and it has character and charm. That's what Rolex is to me. So I still got to answer this question. How do I release myself from Rolex Purgatory when nobody on YouTube is telling me the truth? When the Dalai Lama, the living God, is walking around, with his two-tone Rolex date just on. Well, I'm not going to ask him. He hasn't got any bloody answers for me, has he? So what am I going to do, guys? Now, I've had this epiphany, okay? So I'm getting to the 14-minute stage in this video, and it's time for you to tell me what my epiphany is with regards to Rolex Purgatory and how I'm going to release myself from it. And the answer is, believe it or not, the answer is, I cannot release myself from the Rolex Purgatory. Rolex has to release me from the Purgatory. That's how it works, guys. There's nothing I can do to get myself out of the love and the appreciation, the admiration, the respect, and the allure that Rolex. Look, Rolex is like that absolutely stunning, beautiful woman that looks at you from across the room, and once she's clapped her eyes on you, you can't take it. And I'm married, by the way, so I'm just talking about my pre-marital days, of course. It's like that gorgeous, beautiful woman that slaps her eyes on you from across the room, and that's it. You're a zombie. You're an absolute zombie. You'll do anything for this woman to just go and talk to her. That's what Rolex has done for many people, probably including some of you watching this video now. And my answer, if you're trying to escape this purgatory, is you can't. Rolex will decide when it's time to release you from this purgatory. Now, I've got a date set in stone for when I am going to be released from my Rolex Purgatory. So this is revelation, sensational revelation number 2, guys, is I've got a date for when Rolex is going to release me from my purgatory, and it's soon. And if you want to know what that date is, I'll tell you, because I've got it written down. The date that I will be released from my Rolex Purgatory is the 9th of April of 2024, this year. Now, for those of you who aren't aware already, and I'm sure most of you are, most of you watch dudes will certainly be aware of this, the 9th of April 2024 is the opening day, the first day of Watches and Wonders, which is a Swiss watch expo held in Geneva every year. And this is where all of the big Swiss watch brands release all of their new models. So typically every year, and I'll refer to Rolex now because that's what we're talking about, typically every year on the first day of Watches and Wonders, Rolex will discontinue some popular models, maybe 1 or 2, also some unpopular models, and they'll quite often replace them with better models, better versions, better designs. They'll also very occasionally release something completely new. Now every year when this happens, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok goes absolutely bananas. Absolutely bonkers. And what you will have noticed, actually, probably because I've seen it in the last 2 or 3 weeks, and it will continue until Watches and Wonders, is YouTube's quite quiet at the moment. Social media is quite quiet, and it's because basically for the last 11 months people have been talking about what happened at the last Watches and Wonders and reviewing all the watches that have been released since then, and everybody's got quite bored. And I think, the YouTubers, including myself, are sort of thinking, it'd be nice to have an injection of some fresh models to talk about and croon over. And so 9th of April, guys, what will happen on the 9th of April for me personally is Rolex will release some new models and they'll discontinue 1 or 2. I don't know which ones, but I suspect they'll discontinue 1 or 2. Plenty of videos out there, and I've actually made a video too about what I think will happen. But again, it's just a hobbyist watch dude having some fun. I don't know anything. What I think will happen is Rolex will release some new models. They'll discontinue 1 or 2, and that will be the day where I either remain in Rolex Purgatory, or Rolex chooses to release me from Purgatory because they don't release anything new or anything interesting or anything sensational that I really, really must have, that I want to rush to the authorised dealer the very next day and put my name on the expressions of interest list for. If that doesn't happen to me, guys, on the 9th of April, I will be released from my Rolex Purgatory, because that's really where I've got to now. Is when I look at the Rolex catalogue, I don't really see anything that I kind of really want, but I love everything. Does that make sense? There's not a particular model that I really, really want now, but I love them all. So what I need on the 9th of April is for that feeling to continue. I need, on the 9th of April, for the feeling of not really seeing a model that I desperately want to put myself on the list for. If that happens on the 9th of April, guys, I'm out. I am released from my purgatory. I have no clue what's going to happen after that. I have no idea what I'm going to do, what I'm going to obsess over, because I need to obsess over something. And if I'm no longer obsessing over Rolex, I don't know what it's going to be. But the great thing is, that will be me released from purgatory. So there you go. No pressure, guys, on Rolex. They've really got to they've really got to pull out the stops if they want to keep me. And if they don't, on the 9th of April, and I will make a video, trust me guys, I will make a video on the 9th of April, I promise you. I will record a video and you will get my gut reaction to everything that's just happened from what Rolex have released and announced. And I will tell you on the 9th of April whether I am no longer in Rolex Purgatory. So thanks for watching the video, guys. Sorry it's just ticked over 20 minutes, I do apologise for that, but I know some of you quite enjoy the ramble and some of you can't stick it for more than about 30 seconds, and so maybe ideally in the future I should carry on making 10-minute videos. But guys, I can't say all this in 10 minutes, I'm really sorry. So thanks for sticking it out to the end, guys. If you did, you know, you're a charm, and hopefully, you know, you've heard some bits and pieces of information there that maybe resonate with you in your watch collecting journey. Let me know in the comments what you think, and I look forward to seeing you certainly on the 9th of April. Cheers, guys.